Well, that didn't turn out too positive, did it? I try to be positive. I think I'll go to Sam's today. We need a few things. I definitely don't feel like going all the way to Hartwell to Kroger. Or not Hartwell, but Glendale. Although I would love to go to the dispensary and see if they still have those. See if they still have those gummies on sale. Today, it was Have a Heart Cincinnati, independent. Then Zenleaf bought them. 20% off Curaleaf and Timeless brands. 15% off topicals and tinctures. 20% off Riviera Creek garlic cookies. What is that? An eighth? Whatever 5.66 grams is. Buy any Encore edible, get 20% off Savvy. But what I was looking at was the 40% off. Oh, and they have these, they're called Tasteology peach flavored peach balance gummies. They're a 1-to-1 product, THC to CBD, 5 milligrams each gummy. They're 40% off. The normal price is $22. So $22 and 40% off of them. Amazing buy. They're not the best tasting things, but they're not horrible. You can definitely taste the plant base in them, but the peach and the like little bit of sour crystals on the outside make them, they're good. I don't see the tincture I use. It was a Revel brand. It's pretty good. It's kind of strong. That's why I don't use it. Oh, positivity. Other than, because if I went to Kroger, the dispensary in Hartwell's not that much farther, but I don't feel like going over there. Sam's, I could literally walk to Sam's if I had the energy, the stamina, if I was healthy enough. But anyway, just jokingly, I shaved my head during one of the last cop interactions. I took a pair of scissors and just went to town. They probably thought that I was acting psychotic, but I had reached a point that I wanted to tell my story in its entirety. I've never shaved my head. I didn't like having to have my hair buzz cut when I was younger. I was lucky enough if Dad would allow me to let Bob Walton leave it just a little bit longer and put like that mousse stuff in it. He didn't like that well. But anyway, I'd never shaved my head in my life. And I had hair when I was an infant. So I came in after one of the last cop interactions. They thought, I guess, I was trying to be terroristic, threatening, or something. There were people loitering at one of the local PC places. They hadn't opened yet, and I wasn't aware of it. And physical exacerbation makes the Tourette's a lot worse. It wasn't criminally intended. I, wasn't going to harm anyone. I wasn't going to harm myself. Well, anyway, they came back to the house afterwards, I guess, from talking to people. And when they left, I came in and took a pair of scissors and just snip, snip, snip everywhere. And then they were like, okay, you're going to the crazy farm. So, Nanette, I'm quite sure had to sign off on something saying, yeah, do it, the point of what I was doing. And I didn't tell them. I'm like, you know what? You will never give me the time to do an action that you deem inappropriate and then explain it. Because it's a fucking disgusting thing. Anyway, after I got back from the funny farm, I finished cutting it as close down as I could without having shears that worked. And then I shaved it straight. Well, I think it was a double blade razor. Shaved it. Just to show the scar. just a show to go with the imaging. That's the whole reason I did that. Do you think they bothered to ask? No. They saw it as complete psychiatric behavior. I'm trying to tell my story in detail now that they made it quite clear that they want me dumbed down, at the very least, by those medications. The biggest pet peeve I have now with memory, dementia issues, is forgetting to turn the burner off before taking it off the stove to make my cup of tea. So between them adding all those symptoms, after all the trauma I had already been through, I had no reservations in thinking about suicide and going through with it. And that is on them. Only for them to continue to, harass me to within an inch of my sanity. I wouldn't do it again. But I am not subjecting myself to their theatrical performances. That is all court is. I'm not trying to undermine the criminal justice system. I'm not trying to claim I'm above the law. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I found it highly disrespectful being bitch-slapped in the face, pardon my language, over talking about the corruption in that area related to it. I would know. Donald, Woody, Stocky, Andrew, Patrick, Jeff and Jason, the date rape bars, my friends. So I found it highly disrespectful. If you all thought that I could be harmful, knowing me, taking that one post out of context about Sheriff Boggs, just like I clarified it, I have every right and room to run this big fucking mouth, shoot this big fucking mouth. And Patrick can stand to be splashed with a kitchen spigot as if it's holy water. After what they made me believe, him being the savior, him and law enforcement, that's sick. So please forgive me, because you people didn't take the time to dissect the behavior. You saw it as pure psychiatric. He's flipped, and it's probably the cannabis. No one has actually said that, but I know. I'll admit it's kind of paranoid, but I already know that's at least what the Kentucky family's saying. I am between a rock and a very hard fucking place, and so is she, financially. I should not have to beg my fucking family to liquidate my fucking portion. I should not have to seek legal counsel to get it done. They claim the money that I stole with people, coercing me into doing the cards to cover my medical expenses because they were my responsibility. You have no clue the hell my parents put me through. I don't give a damn what anybody thinks or says about them. My father was a good enough man. He was a good enough provider. He was also a pervert asshole. Just like my mother. So innocent. She's been through so much, and look at how your daddy treats her. That's part of the fucking show. The imaging that we had to uphold to help protect other people that were higher up than we are. My mother's no victim, no innocent party by any means. But if I was the judge, which obviously that would be, totally a breach, because you really aren't supposed to preside over your own family. Just like Christy Tully wasn't supposed to notarize that thing for her daddy. Well, anyway, from my mother, honestly, after everything, I swear to God, 100% true. Mouth on penis, bars of soap rubbing into me like being dry humped by a man, to everything, poisoning and all. If I were the judge, it would be time served, because she put up with enough hell from my father and my sister, and then what little bit of shit I did get into compared to them. My sister didn't get caught because she always had a man on her arm. And Dad, ugh. But my sister, I don't know what to even think or say. You know, they'll come around and pretend to hug on me and shit, and it's like, get the fuck away from me. That is the last thing I want you to do, is touch me. Why in the fuck would I want you all touching me? And they see that as some kind of backhanded bitch slap. Well, I'm sorry that I was molested and raped. I don't want people who were involved, directly and indirectly, touching me. It's as simple as that. I will never get over that. We can express affection and love for one another without touching. And I would prefer it that way. Just like one of the last times that I was in the Mason County house before Mom, did what she rightfully had a right to do, and I don't blame her. She slid up behind me while I was in the kitchen doing something and rubbed her hands up my back to give me a hug because I had said something really traumatic. And I had to push her away from me because I cannot stand being touched by them. That's just like when my father would demand, give daddy sugars. It was so sickening, especially with his stupid ass behavior of, we gave birth to you, we put a roof over your head, we feed you while you're working your ass off doing our jobs. You will sit here and watch reruns of Gunsmoke, because if you want to sit and watch Mama's Family, it's a rerun. Always was, every one of them. Oh, another rerun. How many goddamn times have we seen this episode of Sanford and Sons and Gunsmoke and Bonanza? So, forgive me for calling out Brian White and his family and Tracy Baxter and hers. But for my friend, so-called friend, Brian White, to sit and publicly announce that my father was a good man, my father was a good provider. We worked our fucking asses off. All of us. In every other aspect in life, not trying to speak ill of the dead, only for them to fuck me up even more, because I loved him. If any of you all had even bothered to fucking reach out when he died, which I needed and didn't get, thanks. Justin. Justin. After the hell he had put me through and the hell I had put him through, and he still had the goddamn fucking respect to show the love towards me that I needed at that time. Kenny Flack was there, but that doesn't count. People painting a better picture of my family than they truly were really makes me sick, especially Brian White. Family ties, his ties to, we're personnel in this city, we're good people, our character is untouchable. Well, you can ask some of the workers that we had on our farm, Linda Lemming, on record. Your father used to jump me for taking too long getting a drink of water when we would be housing tobacco. Yeah, I know all about it. Know all about it. So I'm sorry, but I found that very offensive that Brian White would say that about my father. Maybe he was trying to make me feel better, but that sure as hell didn't make me feel better, especially from someone who had simply assisted that one day with Dad, that I couldn't transport him to the hospital myself because he was that weak. I had to beg my fucking sister for 3 hours. I called her that morning and I said, Dad is in a hell of a shape. His anxiety is overruling him. He's, being at least verbally combative, which, Dad always was verbally abusive, but not combative. And, help me, help me, help me. I called her, and I think it was around 3 hours before she finally fucking got her goddamn ass down there. He never would. I should have just picked up the phone, dialed 911, and dealt with it, but he would have talked his way out of it, and those dumbass men would have listened to him. Because that's just how it was with Uncle Richard. 3 hours to get her down there just to fucking talk him in to going into the hospital in an ambulance. And I think that was the last time. So, being estranged from my mother is a bit disheartening. A bit. My sister, I really don't give a shit at all. I hate to say that because I don't even know my youngest niece and nephew. Emily and Brody, whatever. Won't bother me a bit. It's not like those kids ever were dying to see me. They started complaining that I wasn't fun enough after coming off pain management. And it's like, well, why the hell do you think that, I'm no longer able to run and jump and frolic and tease and I'm in so much pain I want to die? But I'm sure as hell not going to sit you kids down and try to describe what your fucking mother and your father and our goddamn family did to me. I would find that highly inappropriate.